kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels slow motion, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in here, and welcome to the RICMOTECH High Performance Sim Racing Equipment Truck Series presented by Extreme Scoring. And tonight we will be doing the Las Vegas 135. I am Tanner Nowell, and beside me is Jonathan Leach.
Hey Tanner, pleasure to be here. Always fun to call races, instead of sitting behind the scenes on everything. Filling in for Angel Santiago today. He's on a much needed vacation. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Las Vegas. Drivers are about to grid up, and Tanner and I are going to be trying to spit fire out to get all 38 drivers mentioned prior to the green flag. But we're at Las Vegas. This is an oval track. It's 1.52 miles, obviously, in Las Vegas, USA. Outside air temperature for today's race, is 67 degrees. You got a 10-mile-per-hour headwind, and the track temperature is 69 degrees. I think we're going to see a lot of grip out here, a little more so than normal for hot summer races, Tanner.
Yeah, with it not being slick, you mentioned the grip level here. I see potentially 3 lanes of racing throughout the whole entire race once the tires grip up on the first run here. Going to see drivers going up top, in the middle, and all the way to the white paint on the apron.
Yeah, so with the recent updates for iRacing that's kind of created multi-groove racing, Las Vegas comes to mind, Kansas comes to mind, um, Auto Club before it gets changed comes to mind. So we've got a lot of good stuff coming. In a moment here, the grid's going to be on screen. The grid is up on screen now. I'm going to lead us off, Tanner. So starting on the pole is going to be Mike Rominger with James Holtzer to his outside as you see these trucks gridding up right now. Ed Morris, row 2 with Bryce Sinsek outside of him. Michael Thwaites, 5th, and Raul Alvis is going to start 6th with Pierce Maffett 7th, John Sterling 8th. Row number 5 is going to be Don Milkwicks and Rick Christensen. It's going to be starting 10.
Yeah, so 11th, we have Brendan Book. 12th, Samuel Morris. 13th, Jeremy Clifton. 14th, last week's winner, Mike Franklin. We'll get into that later. Christian DeBoer starting 15th. 16th, Scott Brotherton. 17th, Dennis Weeks Jr., our ARCA winner from last night. Robert Hill Jr. 18th. 19th, David Elliott. 20th, Alan Hilton.
All right, we're rolling through these guys rather quickly. Starting 21st is going to be Jordan McGraw. 22nd is going to be Tyler Dohar. Wallace Boyce and Kyle Knapp are going to be 23rd and 24th, with Tom Amassey in the number 05 machine 25th. 26th belongs to Chris Akers with Devin Coleman 27th. Starting in the 28th position, the number 36 is going to be Rob Griffin. Bill Hull in the 29th position. 30th belongs to Christopher Basinger.
Yeah, 31st, Mark Hamlin. 32nd, Joshua O'Connor Sr. 33rd, Kel Mabin. 34th, Nicholas Vroman. 35th, Kevin Franks. 36th, Riley Payson. 37th, Ryan Hoover. And rounding out your field in this 38 truck count, we have William Hartman in 38th.
Thank you, Tanner. So we have a 38-car field. This is slightly, I would say, I don't want to say unheard of, but pretty rare in iRacing leagues. You don't normally see this many drivers on the track. This is going to make for a really exciting day because of this. I'm really excited to see all these drivers. And Tanner, I know I'm looking forward to you telling the fans and telling me a little bit more about this league and the season opener that we saw last week. So without further ado, Tanner, I believe this start to this Las Vegas 135 is going to be all yours.
Alrighty, thank you, Jonathan. We will be leaded by Michael Thwaites and Raul Alvis. Oh, excuse me, my SDK is actually messed up. We have the paint's just messed up. So we have Michael Thwaites and Raul Alvis on the inside and outside. It is screwed up, Jonathan. Take it away.
Nope, I've got it for you. No worries. It's James Holtzer and Mike Rominger starting this race side by side coming into turn number 1. James Holtzer in the number 99's got a slight edge out over the number 9 of Rominger. Right behind them, you got number 7, Ed Morris in the 3rd place position. Got another battle brewing for the 5th place position. That's Raul Alvis and Michael Thwaites. Side by side for the top 6. Excellent racing already for lap number 1. Right now, Mike Rominger is going to edge himself out in front over James Holtzer coming to the conclusion of lap number 1. And the yellow flag is already out.
Yeah, and James, I am back. It actually turned out to be I had to close SDK, come right back, so Mike Rominger is in the lead as we just had our first caution of the race on lap 1 with this large field, James.
Alrighty, well, I'm showing that Rob Griffin had something to do with this, so I'm going to try to pull up on screen and see what just happened. Try this one more time here. Rob Griffin, looks like he gets a little bit loose in that number 36 machine coming into the corner. I'm going to try to take this from his perspective on board with him and see what happened from his angle. Yeah, it looks like he started to get loose there, Tanner, and had a little bit of help from drivers right behind him. Doesn't look too bad. He's able to get that 36 machine rolling, and we're going to get back underway here in just a couple moments.
Yeah, and I'm going to take this opportunity to give a short summary of last week's race as we saw Mike Franklin get the victory lane. Raul Alvis led the most laps at Daytona, but he caused one too many wrecks. And in the final lap, he was given the EOL and lost his second place finish. So ultimately, Ed Morris finished 3rd, James Holtzer second, and Mike Franklin first. The race was ran 3/4 of the way under the green flag, and at the end of the race, that ultimately ended in a green-white checkered, and that checkered turned into a yellow flag with a wreck on the backstretch. A very, very interesting finish last week at Daytona.
Thank you for that, Tanner. I appreciate you going over that with me since I was not here for the race. That was Angel Santiago with you last Tuesday, if I remember, and obviously I'm filling in for him. So quick caution here at Las Vegas. So things are trending a little bit different already than they did for the season opener, but Vegas is not a track that comes to my mind for breeding cautions per se. I think this is a matter of fresh tires, trying to push a little bit too hard, a little further in the back there. I think once these drivers get spread out and kind of nature of Las Vegas, things tend to go green for a large portion of the race. Looks like the pace lights are off, which means next time by, Mike Rominger is going to be, he's going to have the hot seat and everything's going to be on him.
Yeah, no, your top four has not changed yet. The only move that has changed inside the top five, which Raul Alvis is on the inside in 5th place on that 3rd row. So Raul Alvis and Michael Thwaites swap positions.
All right, we're going to go a little bit further back here, talk about some movers already. So in the 23rd position, we've got Bill Hull. Bill Hull is up 5 spots. Driver is up 5 spots in a lap, Tanner. That's pretty impressive. He's out of Spartanburg. A little further back in 29th, Ryan Hoover. He's up 8 spots out of Buffalo, driving the number 92. Real pretty white and like turquoise Chevrolet for him. Keep an eye on those guys that are early and fast movers.
And as that pace truck enters turn 3, Johnson, we're getting ready for you to take this green flag away, but we can't help but admire the number 9 and 99 have not changed a single position yet. They play follow the leader there under Mike Rominger. So here you go, Jonathan.
With pleasure. I always enjoy restarts at Las Vegas. In a couple moments, the pace truck, in fact, he's going to beat me to the punch. He's going to turn off hard left, pretend like he's a NASCAR truck driver himself. Mike Rominger was not sleeping on the throttle. James Holtzer might have been sleeping just a bit. He's at risk of losing position to the number 7 of Ed Morris coming into turn number 1. He will. Ed Morris to second, right behind Rominger. The number 50 of Raul Alvis trying to take advantage of the slip up as well.
Yeah, the 99 falling victim to the inside freight train here at Las Vegas. But very, very aggressive driving here by Raul Alvis. Nonetheless, we expect that from the past 3 races we have seen. Raul already given a battle to Mike Rominger for the lead. To the apron he goes, to the quarter panel of the number 9. Going into turn 1, he will take it low. Number 9 is going to have the momentum on the outside, but Raul going to drive her in deep and hope she sticks.
Well, right now, if you're going to drive it in deep and hope it sticks, you want to do that early. Remember, fresh tires. Not very hot track, so there's going to be a little grip nearly touching right there coming into turn 3. They stay away from each other, but I bet net code actually they felt that probably a little bit of contact right there. Going a little bit further back, Ed Morris and the 09 of Bryce Sinsack. They're working back and forth here for the 3rd position. Ed Morris has it. Sinsack wants it. James Holtzer blinking in and out a little bit right here. Hopefully his network connection stables out as this race goes on.
Yeah, we're working lap 7 of 135. We have 1 lead change. Raul Alvis to the front, as well as hardest charger right now is the 22nd position of number 29, Bill Hull, up 7 positions from where he started. So very, very good job by him.
Absolutely. We mentioned him a couple moments ago. Up 5 positions on lap number 1. Right in front of him in the 21st position, Devin Coleman. He's up 6 positions as well, the number 87. The 84 just in front of him looks like he got a little bit loose. That's Robert Hill Jr. kind of slid up the track a little, was able to gather it up and keep it going. We got a lot of great battles back and forth right here, Tanner. Looking at the 11th position of Christian DeBauer, or DeBauer perhaps, the number 56 Chevrolet. He's in between the 51 of Jeremy Clifton, and right behind him you've got Mike Franklin Sterling and David Elliott all right here in this battle. The 13 goes high. as well. That's
It's
Don Milkwigs.
That 56 is actually Christian DeBoer, and that 13 is Don Milkowitz.
DeBoer and Milkwigs. All right, I can correct that for further racing.
As we have a battle for the lead, Raul Alvis to the inside of Mike Rominger, as the 7 of Ed Morris to the inside on the apron into turn 1, under attack by the number 99 of James Holtzer. The top 4 here are nonetheless separated by about 2/10.
Yeah, these guys are really getting it, and they're not really getting spread out early. Kind of surprising to me, but perhaps that's just kind of just goes to show what kind of league we're dealing with right here for the RICMOTECH Truck Series. Looks like the skill level for these guys might be pretty close overall. In fact, everybody in the top 20, aside from 2 or 3 drivers, are still in the 30-second bracket for times. These guys are really cooking around here, Tanner, and it just goes to show what we're dealing with in the booth. And I'm really actually grateful to be here in place of Angel and having a lot of fun already. And we're only coming to lap 12. We got another 113 to go here.
Yeah, that is correct. As you were just talking about grip, we will see that start to fade away within the next 10 laps. Fuel window will open in approximately another 20 laps, around 30, 35. So going to be interesting to see green flag stops. We saw a few troubles last week at Daytona with green flag stops, but that is Daytona, as Raul Alvis is taking a commanding lead over, Raul Alvis and Mike Rominger taking a commanding lead over third place James Holtzer.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to talk about a little bit of spreading out, up front-ish seems to be where it is. The top 2 got a little bit of a gap to third, and then 6 has about a half a second gap to 7. So things starting to spread out just a little bit here. But really, for intents and purposes, we can see right here on this great camera angle, just everything is just one giant line of machines. Can you imagine how loud this would be to be in the grandstands right here? At a track like this, you're not getting any relief from the sound of these things as they go by over and over and over at 180 miles an hour or more sometimes when you're here at Las Vegas, depending how well the draft is helping this car or truck at that time.
Yeah, Jonathan, all I could describe that is music to my ears. That is all that is we're looking at about 181 miles an hour going into the turn, the entry of the turn, and coming to the start-finish line. At the start-finish line, we have about 179 miles an hour, and into the throttle let-off zone, we have 180 miles an hour.
Well, my guesstimate's right. It's almost like I've driven trucks around here once or twice in my lifetime. And great job right there, Tanner. Believe it or not, I actually put a speedo on screen for those drivers when we went over that, and you had no idea. You're just right on the money tonight. That's excellent. We're going to have I keep saying we're going to have a lot of fun, but we're already having fun. Let's go back a little bit further here. Let's take a look at 10th place driver Brendan Book in the number 5. He's got a line of machines in front of him, a line of machines behind him. He's in the number 5 butt kicker Chevrolet. He's currently up 1 position since the start of this race. Kind of working one groove up from the bottom right there with the number 51, Jeremy Clifton, right behind him. And there's Christian, I told you I was not going to forget it, but I did forget it, Daybauer, that's right.
DeBoer.
Oh my God, I got it wrong, DeBoer. Gee whiz. Well, I told you I wasn't going to forget it. I still forgot it. And we'll get better on it next time.
Yeah, Jonathan, one thing me and James and Angel always like to do is check our chat for our lovely viewers, and they are mostly family of the drivers. Alexander Brown says, let's go GT Motorsports. Alexander Brown is the driver of the number 67 of the ARCA series. He dominated last night. And Daniel Payan says, number 11 is my dad. If I'm not mistaken, that is Riley Payan. Give me just a second. Oh, excuse me, that is Christopher Basinger.
You know what I like to see? We've got that you said Alexander Brown in there. I don't think we've had a fan yet ask us to crank it up in our history here for the Sim Racing Media Company, and obviously this is on the ESPN network here with us. But you know what, Tanner? Coming to lap 19, let's go ahead and turn it up for the guys. They want it. We're going to give it to them. Tanner and I are going to be right back. Enjoy the sounds of either Freedoms or Ford Chevy and Toyota trucks out here. All right, folks, we're back with you now. Tanner and I enjoyed a slight little break while we brought you all this crazy action up front. We saw a little bit going on there for the lead, or I should say Raul Alvis getting a little bit close to the number 99. Ended up not being a thing, but correct me if I'm wrong, Tanner, I think we might have lost the number 99?
99 is in pit road. He's in his box now.
Okay, all right. I couldn't find him on our timing for a minute, so I was afraid he might have blinked out from earlier issues. So perhaps we're starting our pit cycle here a little early on lap 30, which does seem a little bit early to me, but perhaps these drivers have a strategy that we're not aware of. So a little bit further back here, let's talk about Michael Thwaites here. Is that how I pronounce that? Thwaites?
That is correct.
Yeah, Michael Thwaites here. He's battling Bryce Sinsack for the 4th position. And I saw Bryce just a moment ago kind of pull up and around the number 12 there, swapping 5th for 4th. Really good racing between the top 5 right here. Going back to 6, you're about a second and just under a second and a half back to Brendan Book here in the 6th position. He's up 5 spots. Mike Franklin slowly moving, started 14th. Currently in 7th for his number 82, that black and chrome machine. That's a pretty cool scheme. And then right behind him, we got a really great battle. 2 wide, John Sterling, Jeremy Clifton, still pretty much side by side at the line, but give it to Sterling that time.
Yeah, and our hardest charger right now is the number 95 in 16th place, up 18 positions from where he first started. Is that correct, Jonathan?
Yep, I'm showing 18 positions, that number 95 Chevrolet. Looks like he's got a little bit of rear damage. Let's try to watch him as he goes by right here. Yeah, it looks like he got rear-ended just a bit right there. But perhaps that damage is working for him, considering he's up 18 positions to 16th. His last time around, he ran a 31.94. That's only a 10th slower than the leader was last time by. So he's got speed. We'll keep an eye out on the vroom, vroom, vroom prime time, number 95.
Yeah, Jonathan, at the beginning of the session, I was actually watching practice, and the 95 was the quickest in practice, and he is the 2nd fastest of this race. He ran a 30.49. He is second to none other than, give me just a second to find it, Kyle Knapp in the number 42. Ford F-150 is Raul Alvis into pit road, the number 50-hour leader, all the way into pit road.
We're going to watch him come down pit road, see if he gets into his box in the SimWorks number 54 without issue. It's a little slide, but everything looks good. After seeing him come down, I can't imagine Ed Morris or Rominger are going to stay out for too much longer. Otherwise, because, I mean, the undercut here, so their best laps were in the 30.6 area, right? Their last laps were pretty much 32 flats for the top 3. That's a 1.5 seconds difference per lap for about 5 or 6 laps. If I'm Ed Morris, I'm Mike Rominger, Bryce Sinsack, and Michael Thwaites. I'm not going to stay out here for too much longer unless I'm trying to stretch it to one less stop.
Yeah, my thing about it is, if the leader pits, you need to come within no less than 3 to 5 laps before you absolutely lose your position on track. Track position is the most important thing in a 1.5 miles because they are harder to pass than a normal super speedway like we were at last week. So Daytona was very easy to pass. Here at Las Vegas, it is going to be very interesting to see cars pass if they lose position on pit road. As the 7 of Ed Morris did stay out late last night, so I think this is the common occurrence that he likes to stretch out his pit runs.
Well, as you said that, here he comes with the top 5. Really everybody in the top 10 but Nicholas Roman. So you've got Sterling down, Sinsack, Michael Thwaites, Brendan Book, John Sterling. A whole slew of drivers led by Ed Morris coming down pit road. Well, now Nicholas Roman, it says Vroom on this car. Definitely the highest mover. He's up 33 positions as he sits right now. Right side comes up on the Ed Morris machine. Right side comes down. Let's see if the left side comes up. Left side comes up. He's getting 4 tires. Froman's pitting from the lead now in the number 95 machine. Ed Morris is leaving pit road. Now, battle off is going to be big deal. You see Ed Morris, he's going to get out in front of the number 9 of Brominger. Then you got Brendan Book, Sinsack, Thwaites, Coleman, Pierce Buffett, Sterling, and a whole bunch of other drivers. So what we're trying to find out here is it's going to depend on where Raul Alvis is when he comes around those drivers right there. I'm going to try and get us a good angle right here to see. See, here's number 7 of Raul Alvis right here. And then, yeah, he's got about a 4-second lead over Ed Morris, who's right back here. So the difference between the number 4 on that track map and the number 7, that's the, or correction, that's really odd right here. Yeah, so the number 4 and then the number 5. So on the map, excuse me, this is showing positions, not driver number. That is my mistake. We're going to fix that right here. So number 50 to the 7, that's the difference. About a third of the front stretch just by pitting 2 laps sooner.
Yeah, Raul all the way out front, but here's the question, and we saw it play dividends last night. If you pit early and your pit strategy stretches out and the green flag stretches out, and you wind up pitting early on that last green flag run, also known as the money stop, you're not going to have as much tires as the other drivers are going to have if they stayed out 5-10 more laps than you on the last run. So it's going to be very interesting to see if Raul Alvis will be able to hold off that tire wear at the very end of this run if it goes green, Jonathan.
Yeah, see, that could be an issue. But at the same time, you know, he's kind of all out by himself. He's got a few cars in front of him right there. But that 3.5-second lead, I'm going to play devil's advocate to what you were saying. I think he can kind of just stay out there, run his line, not have to worry too much about battling anybody, as I'm guessing he had a speeding penalty. Here he comes down pit road. Wow. Well, that's not going to make a difference now, as Ed Morris is going to assume the lead in the number 7 machine coming into turn 1. Raul Alvis must have been costly mistake. Keeping an eye on him. Is this just a pass-through? It looks like it was only a pass-through. This is something that he can recover from, Tanner, considering he was in the lead. He's dropped all the way back to the 27th position. We're going to put that track map back up one more time so we can see. So there's number 50 to 7. Ed Morris just crossed the start-finish line. Number 50 is going to have to get on the throttle so he doesn't get passed. I think he's going to stay on the lead lap. Show him 29th.
Yeah, so nothing showing up on our penalty sheet, but he was given a drive-through from the admin. So the 50 of Raul Alvis no longer in the lead. Ed Morris up 2 positions in the number 7 Chevrolet Silverado. P1, P2 is number 9 Mike Rominger, our pole sitter. And in the 3rd position, number 5, Brendan Book.
All right, at the moment we've got the Extreme Scoring Tower here, brought to you by Sim Racing Media Company on the ESPN Network. We got ourselves a battle for 5th between Jeremy Clifton, Michael Thwaites, and Mike Franklin. And Brendan Book is leading these guys. So really, we're going to say it's a battle for 3rd, effectively, between these 4 drivers. Any one of them could make a slip and cause a lot of difference right here. And they're going to have to sort it out quickly because Devin Coleman and Mike Franklin both are on their way behind him. The 51 all the way down to the apron, slides back up on track, trying to get a little more momentum to get around the number 12, Michael Thwaites. He's going to slide up a little bit, manages to catch it. No big event there, side by side out of the corner, and then side by side in front of them for Brendan Book and Sinsack as well.
Yeah, and after pit road cycles, the number 95 of Nicholas Broman, who pitted on lap 38, so one of the last trucks to pit, is all the way up in 10th position, up 24 positions from where he first started. So a very, very huge mover here. Nicholas Broman inside your top 10. He was fastest in practice. We'll see what he's got for the race as we are coming up on almost lap 47 out of 135.
All right, so we're just a little bit over a third of the way done, Tanner. We're going to take one more of our quick breaks brought to you by Red Cat. And you guys who don't know about Red Cat, these are some awesome RC machines. Really great way to get into the RC rock crawling industry. Christmas is coming up in a few months. might be something worth checking out. We've got a link in the description below on Facebook and on YouTube. Also, don't forget to check out the website for the RICMOTECH and for the RICMOTECH Truck Series. That's Extreme Scoring as well. Tanner and I will be back in a couple moments after this video.
Alrighty, after that break from our sponsor, we have Ed Morris, P1, P2, Mike Rominger, P3, Bryce Senasac. And we have Devin Coleman actually in P5, 22 positions gained in that number 87, beautiful Ford F-150.
Got ourselves quite really a great race going on here. We had that lap 1 caution, and ever since we've been green. A lot of movement up front, and Devin Coleman to the 5th position now, up 22 spots. Nicholas Roman still increasing his position, up 24 spots. And number 95, he's now knocking on the door inside the top 10.
Yeah, and the number 50, getting a report, he possibly went through too many boxes and was given that black flag. It was not posted in the penalty chat, but the number 50 threw too many boxes posted drive-through, as well as Alexander Brown asking to see that number 3 truck. That is the number 3 Ford F-150 of John Sterling in 14th position.
Yeah, we had him up on screen a couple moments ago for John Sterling, but we see him right here, kind of just, excuse me, kind of locked in a battle right here with a bunch of other drivers on his low side. You got the number 2 of Alan Hilton, you got Rick Christensen, Kyle Knapp is in there as well. John Sterling out of Gaithersburg, Maryland. I bet it's pretty cold up there, Tanner. I bet it feels great down there where you are in Alabama right now. That's probably about where I want to be this time of year, but not Maryland and not up here in North Michigan where it's starting to get cold. But drivers are not cold out on track. They're definitely hot, sweaty, trying to increase their position, and really a lot of respect that you can see from these drivers too. Everybody's giving each other room, and I'm getting the vibes that even when it's coming down to the wire, we're not going to see a lot of disrespect out on the track based on what I've been seeing as of now.
That is correct. We have been seeing that week in and week out the first 2 weeks. Absolutely no dirty driving from this group of guys. Clean racers, very talented in the ARCA and trucks from Extreme Motorsports. So very, very interesting to watch the end of these races. As last night, our winner was actually decided because he was on the outside line and he was able to stay into the throttle in turn 3 at Richmond because Ed Morris rode up the track on old tires. He was on the inside line, rode up the track, let out of the throttle. I actually asked him about that in the interview, and I gave him a huge props for letting out of the throttle for the lead to not hit the other driver, which was our winner, DJ Weeks. So very, very respectful racing here, Jonathan.
All right, well, that's some pretty great news right there. Coming to lap 60 here in a couple moments. Things, I mean, it's kind of sort of spreading out a little bit. Still have our pockets of battles here and there. We can go a little bit further back. 27th is Christopher Basinger, the number 11, as he sits between Scott Brotherton in 26th, and 28th is Joshua O'Connor Sr. So we got some stuff going on towards the back of the track as well. 21st, we're running here. We got a turquoise number 94 for Samuel Morris. I really kind of like that color. Whoever painted that did a really great job spraying that machine. I feel like it's a difficult color to render.
Yeah, it's very eye-catching on the track. And one thing I want to point out here, Jonathan, I mentioned this last night, and I'm going to mention it tonight. The beautiful, admiring paint scheme of the 97, Dennis Weeks, actually has a son that is an autistic son. So he was explaining last night how he does each and every race for his son, and it was a very heart-touching interview last night. Like, almost made me want to cry for how out of tears of joy for how much support he has for his son, displaying on his virtual car each week.
Well, Tanner, something I'll tell you, you're a little bit younger than I am right now, but I think like 8 years or so. You'll understand how all that works once you become a father someday, and based on what I know about you, I expect you're going to be probably every bit as supportive as this guy is. And really, thanks for sharing that. That's a shout out that needs to happen every single race. You know what? That's a lot more for a parent to do. Kids by themselves are a handful, and then let alone that current situation. So shout out to Dennis Weeks and what he does for his family and what he's trying to do out here on the track, bringing awareness to autism.
Yes, we actually have a battle heating up for the lead. Ed Morris and Mike Rominger. It went from 6/10 to 3/10 right there on that lap 61. So Ed Morris falling back just a slight bit. Very interesting to see Mike Rominger pick up ground as he is under fire by, is that a lap car right behind him?
I'm trying to take a little bit of a look here. Number 9, that's Rominger. Then you got the number 77. That
Tyler
should be
Dohar.
Tyler Dohar. Yeah, filter time, Chevrolet Silverado. You know, we're seeing a lot out here. We're seeing a lot of Silverados, Tanner. I'm not sure how I feel about that. The highest ranking Ford is Devin Coleman in 6th, and you got to go all the way back to 30th for a pair of Toyotas. 30th and 31st. Seems like we got ourselves a lot of Chevrolet fans here tonight. But back out to the front, like you mentioned. Go ahead.
And honestly, I don't like it either. I'm a Ford man, and to see them all the way back in 6th is the best position. All I got to do is clap for the Fords. As we have action on pit road, Ryan Huber, Christopher Basinger, Joshua O'Connor Sr., all the way to the pits. We have 4 to 5 trucks on pit road.
All right, multiple drivers pitting right there from lap 65. 37 was when Ed Morris came down pit road quite a while ago. I still expect we're going to see him out on track probably for about another 5 to 10 laps, assuming my guess is correct for what he's intending on doing. As far as pit stops, I'm thinking he's trying to make this on one more stop after this one. So I figure we won't see him come down until probably about 72 or so. Just my best guess. I can't say for certain.
And I love our fans, Jonathan. I don't know if I can say this enough, but Alexander Brown says, just wait until you see William Hartman in his Toyota to victory lane. Very engaging chat, and we will see if William Hartman will make it to victory lane there, Mr. Alexander.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and say he's not going to make it to victory lane tonight. Unfortunately, he scored 38th, not on track at the moment, but I'm sure we'll be watching for him. I'm going to have to make a point, Tanner, to listen to you every Monday and Tuesday when you're out here kind of being the front man for both the ARCA and Truck Series for extreme scoring. I'm just going to look forward to it. After being here for 67 laps, it just gives me something to look forward to. Obviously, with you and James on Monday nights and you and Angel on Tuesday, there's going to be really well-called commentary. It's going to be interesting. We're never going to have lull moments. It's not going to be boring. And these guys just, they really get in it. They're just doing a really great job. I'm having a lot of fun. Great, beautiful paint schemes out on here. Like this number 34 of Jordan McGraw. Like, how do you even paint a machine like this? This is just incredible. I mean, whoever came up with the design here, kudos to them. And awesome for running it. So I think I'm going to have to add this one to my schedule to watch weekly.
Well, I appreciate that, Jonathan. The attention of Mr. Leach is compared to none others. I really appreciate that. As the 34 has a beautiful paint scheme, but my paint scheme of the year, and we're only in week 2, is the number 97 of Dennis Weeks. That is yet to be beat in the first 2 weeks. So, Jonathan, you gotta take that 34. I'll take the 97.
Well, you know what? I think I also got to like that number 94. That's something about that turquoise with whatever slapped on the hood right there. I think that's SpongeBob. I think I see Patrick and SpongeBob on the front hood of that number 94 right here. Trying to get a better angle at it, but we only have so many cameramen. As a couple more drivers just came down pit road. Devin Coleman, Don Milkwicks.
Yeah, Raul Alvis, Tom and Massey, Rob Griffin, all on pit road there. They are coming out as I speak. And Ed Morris should be coming down pit road any time now. From here till about the next 4 laps is going to be his window, I'm pretty sure, based on the pattern that he set during the first green flag cycle.
Right. I was thinking between lap 70. Thinking lap 72 was my guess. So we're going to see if he turns it down this time or if it's going to be another time by. It is going to be this time. Lap 71 coming to 72. Wow, I'm really getting decent at guessing. It's almost like I'm meant to be a sportscaster or something, but I'm no CBS NFL analyst, that's for sure. But Ed Morris down pit road side by side with the number 8. Number 8's going to pull into his stall, leaving the number 7 open to come down easily. It's going to turn in right here. Looks like he got into his stall without too much of an issue.
Yeah, no mistakes there from our leader on entry. Now the question is, can he come in on exit, or can he come in clutch on exit, excuse me. Number 5, Brendan Book, followed by the number 09, Bryce Sinisag, Jordan McGraw, John Sterling, Rick Christensen, Pierce Maffitt, all coming down pit road at one time. The large majority of the field, or the vast majority of the field, has now visited pit road at least twice.
Yeah, still got a few drivers out front. That's Kyle Knapp, Chris Akers, Dennis Weeks in number 97, Samuel Morris in the 94, and Kevin Franks in the number 98. These guys are all pretty close together, actually, within about, well, at least second on to fourth are pretty close. So here comes Kyle Knapp. He's exiting the track for pit road, as well as Akers and Morris. Put the number 97, your favorite paint scheme, to the front here, for Dennis Weeks here, as he comes into turn number 1. The number 95 right behind him, trying to get his lap back. I'm going to imagine the hard way. That's Nicholas Roman. We've been seeing a lot of him, even with that rear end damage on his machine, really trying to make things happen.
Yeah, very fast machine. The number 1 position in practice, showing off. It's the 97 of Dennis Weeks down pit road. He goes, our leader down pit road. Your new leader will be the 98 of Kevin Franks. Will he come in this time by? He pitted on lap 39. He is on pit road as I speak. Ed Morris has now cycled back out to the lead.
All right, you're right, he sure has, and he's got about a 2.5 second lead over Brendan Book in the 4th place position. Lap 75 complete, or on lap 75 of 135. Making really great time, Tanner, especially with only one caution right here for Ed Morris and the rest of this field. Dennis Weeks just now coming out of pit road right here. He's going to rejoin the field. I've shown 60 laps remaining on this one, so everybody's going to have to pit one more time. I think it's just going to be a matter of who set themselves up for the better pit stop, and if we're going to have a caution at the end, who stays out, who only takes 2, who comes down pit road for 4. I really think that every driver is starting to kind of think about what they're going to do if caution comes out with 10 to go, 20 to go. Maybe even 30 to go, kind of what you're going to do. Because, I mean, at 30 to go, you kind of make your bet if you come down pit road. And if you stay out hoping that everybody else come down, if there's another caution, you can also kind of seal your fate there as well. So I think we're going to see some strategy coming a little bit further down as the night goes on, as these next 63 laps check off.
Yeah, and Kyle Knapp's name is actually pronounced Knapp. The K is silent, just a little heads up. But as you were just mentioning strategy here, I say that racing is about 75% strategy and 25% skill. Some may disagree with me, some may agree. I really don't care. You're not going to change my mind, because strategy at the end of the day is important. Whether you lose 3 or 4 seconds on pit road or you're gaining that back on the track, that's between the driver. But the crew chief needs to put the drivers into the right position at the right time, knowing when to pit that gives them the best benefit, the best equal lap times, the lowest fall off there, Jonathan. So strategy going to play a huge role in this truck race.
Yeah, most definitely. I want to make mention, since you corrected me on Kyle Knapp's name, he actually just ran the fastest time around Vegas today. He ran a 30.39, almost over a 10 faster than everybody else on the field, and he just might have had a little bit of an issue right there. It looks like he is still back out on screen. We got a little bit of skipping all of a sudden right there, based on, I think he had a little bit of a blink, and it caused a little bit of skipping with the iRacing server on our end because we were viewing him. That was a little bit odd, but fastest driver out on track right now is Kyle Knapp.
That is correct, and he is in 14th place, up 10 positions, right in the middle of this battle around your top 12. So very, very interesting and action-packed. As Ed Morris is your leader, followed by Brendan Book, who is approximately 1.6 seconds behind our leader. Car link coming out of turn 2. We have Mike Franklin leading that pack, that second pack, which consists of 9th place Mike Franklin, 10th place Jordan McGraw, 11th place Alan Hilton. Alan Hilton passing David Elliott, Jordan McGraw passing Mike Franklin, a little double pass there.
All right, folks, I'm going to have to go blank screen for a couple moments, listen to Tanner call the show. I'm having some latency issues on my end, which is a little bit abnormal. Don't normally suffer from that, so we're having some machines blink out and blink on. I'm going to go blank screen for a moment. We're going to go ahead and watch a video by Extreme Scoring as I try to sort this issue out. We'll be right back.
RICMOTECH, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, RICMOTECH has you covered. Hundreds of name-brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, RICMOTECH.com.
Alrighty, Ed Morris under attack by Brendan Book. Thank you for our sponsored ad there, presented to you by RICMOTECH, high performance sim racing equipment, longtime partners with Extreme Racing or Extreme Motorsports. And I am absolutely thrilled to call this with Jonathan Leach. We are with ESPN and SRM. So everyone, make sure you leave a like and share our pages as well on YouTube and Facebook. That is greatly appreciated. Let us know what cars you want us to check out, as we have Ed Morris and Brendan Book fighting for the lead, and they are followed by Mike Rominger, who is 8/10 back. So there's a lap car in this mix, 2 lap cars. That is the 59, it looks like, of Joshua O'Connor, and the 98 of Kevin Franks. They are fighting for the lucky dog position, as our leaders, Ed Morris and Brendan Book, are fighting at the same time. So we have a double action for the lead. One is for the lead lap, actual leaders, and one is for the lucky dog position. Ed Morris still able to edge out Brendan Book, Mike Rominger 3rd, Devin Coleman 4th, Nicholas Broman 5th, as we have Alexander Brown saying don't sleep on Knapp. Knapp is in 12th position, up 12 spots from where he first started. His working lap 89 on the back stretch. He is trying to hunt down Jordan McGraw and Rick Christensen, but Ed Morris and Brendan Book still rounding out the top of your field here. As we have a lead change, Brendan Book took the lead there on the inside of Ed Morris. Ed Morris is going to have the momentum coming out of too. Brendan Book to the inside. He is going to look at sending it on in on this entry, but Ed Morris is going to be able to throttle up on exit as he's on that high line, able to keep more momentum on exit. Brendan Book gonna slide up in front of him. Slide job. Ed Morris all the way to the apron at the start finish line. Ed Morris does not have the lead. He lost it by about a half car length. He will have it a whole car length in turn 1, but he's gonna get swirly as the 98 is gonna creep in on him. That is a lap car.
Yeah, this battle is getting rather intense right here, and sorry about the black screen, folks. Things seem to be stabilizing now. Having some slight network issues a few moments ago. We had to go black screen as I tried to sort it out. I couldn't remedy it, but it seems like it's starting to stabilize. But this battle right here, that is not stable whatsoever. Ed Morris on the inside of Brendan Book. Book really trying to make the high lane work, and what you'll notice, Tanner, being a driver yourself, is Brendan Book is doing a really good job at keeping that middle line. He's not letting Ed Morris get back into the throttle as quickly as he wants to, and because of that, Brendan Book was able to slide down in front of Ed Morris. New leader by about a length and a half now, Brendan Book, who's also up 10 spots on the day.
Yeah, Brendan Book not really being disrespectful. He's just being racy there, pinching Ed Morris's exit off to where Ed's not able to carry that momentum that the number 5 is on the outside. So nice racecraft by the number 5 of Brendan Book. He is actually driving the exact same way I would. Don't let anybody to your outside once the tires are gone, because that's where the momentum's at. The inside, as I always say, is for the early passes. And if you're going to win it, you're going to have to pass on the outside at most of these mile and a halves. And that's what Brendan Book just did. So he showed us he's strong enough to do that. Ed Morris not falling victim, though, to tire wear. He is going to stay right on the bumper of that number 5 Brendan Book.
Yeah, things starting to get a little bit dicey up here to the front. A little further back here for 4th, you got Devin Coleman, Nicholas Roman just a little bit behind him. 2 huge movers on today's race. But the battle is really for, let's call it 6 right here between Bryce Sinsack and Michael Thwaites. And you can put Nicholas Roman kind of in the mix right there. This is a pretty good battle right here for the 5th position, 6th position, however you want to call it. A little bit further back even, we got a battle for 9th between Rick Christensen and Alan Hilton. Kyle Knapp trying to sneak into that picture as well, and a bunch of drivers pretty much single file, all separated by a couple car lengths or less from about 11th on back to, let's call it 16th right here. Got ourselves kind of like a little pack, almost like super speedway racing-ish right here.
Yeah, exactly. Reminds me of the beginning of a super speedway race. Nobody wanting to take chances, so they're all single file, just fighting out the miles here. They're only going for the distance, and then once they get closer to the start-finish line, at the end of this race, closer to lap 135, they will go side by side, maybe even a little bit of 3 wide. But Jonathan, in about 5 to 10 laps, we will have pit road cycles, and that will be the money stop, as I was talking about earlier today.
Yeah, you're right on about that. So let's go ahead and take one last Turn It Up segment. You know, one of our fun trademarks that we do here. After this one, we're just going to stay on with the race fans for the remainder of this show. Tanner and I are going to step away for, let's call it about 4 or 5 laps. Enjoy the sounds of the RICMOTECH trucks. We'll be right back.
Alrighty, we have Jeremy Clifton down pit road. Then we have Nicholas Vroman, Bryce Senasag, Rob Griffin, Michael Twaits, all down pit road. That is your first group. We're gonna have a battle here, 105 on lap 105, excuse me. So approximately 30 laps to go. That is your money stop here. 30 laps to go. Window is open for everyone to come down. Ed Morris entering pit lane. We have Scott Brotherton, Bryce Senasack, Nicholas Broman, Bill Hull. They are all down pit road earlier. They were the first group, actually. So we have Brendan Book and Mike Rominger down pit road. That is your leaders.
And one other thing I want to mention, Tanner, is don't look now, but the lights are on now. Transitioning from day to night, the track's going to change a little bit more even. We're going to put the weather up. Track temperature's only raised by 3 degrees since the start of this one. Started at 69 degrees, now 72. But that shade, I think, is going to start to make a little bit of a difference as this one goes on.
Yeah, Rick Christensen out for our lead now. Kyle Knapp. Rick Christensen down pit road. Jordan McGraw, John Sterling, all down pit road. Christian DeBoer. Kyle Knapp is still your leader. He last pitted on lap 73. He is up 23 positions. He is the leader. There we see the 09 and the 77 all passing him as we go past pit road entry. Kyle Knapp down pit road. Dennis Weeks is currently your leader. Samuel Morris also through pit road. Kevin Franks has yet to pit. He last pitted on lap 74, so he will be scored in your second position for just a moment. Ed Morris is your leader. Once it all is cycled out, said and done, Ed Morris has about a 0.2 of a second gap over Brendan Book. They were fighting for the lead before we last left for a commercial break. So very, very interesting to see who can edge out who between Ed Morris and Brendan Book. That is the battle for Victory Lane Vacation. There we go. VOV, Victory Lane Vacation. We're taking a look at the 98 of Kevin Franks, who will be scored the leader until he pits. Looks like he's possibly going to come down pit road here in just a second. There he goes, Kevin Franks down pit road. Ed Morris is now scored as your leader.
And well, he's got his hands full right here with number 5 of Brendan Book. These two guys are not going to let each other get away. There's only 20 laps remaining right here, and I'm expecting this to be a really good battle. Kudos to Devin Coleman, who's now, with a bit of strategy, hard driving, has found his way up to third in that number 87 machine. He's about 3.5 seconds back, a little bit faster than the leaders, but he is under siege right now from the number 9 of Mike Rominger as well, who seemed to have got a better corner exit out of turn number 4 than Coleman. So we're going to see if Coleman and Rominger have anything for Brendan Book and Ed Morris in the final closing laps.
Yeah, Rominger has 3-lap older newer tires than Devin Coleman, so 3-lap advantage on tire wear Mike Rominger, the number 9, has over the 87 of Devin Coleman. Brendan Book, Ed Morris, only 1 lap difference on tires. Ed Morris pitted on lap 105, Brendan Book on 106. So with 24 to go, our lead battle heats up. Ed Morris on the outside, Brendan Book on the inside. That is a lap car there. The 05 of Tom and Massey fighting for his lucky dog position. It is very safely secure as we speak right now because he is the first lap car on the track, Jonathan.
All right, so he's trying to get his lap back the hard way, I imagine, right behind these guys here. That's gonna, maybe that could be a little bit of a thing that might cause some issues for these two drivers. I'm not certain if it will, as Kyle Knapp just ran an even faster lap than he did before. This time a 30.38. So it was only about 100th faster than his fastest lap, but that's another blazing fast lap for the driver currently scored in the 15th. He's got a whole slew of drivers in front of him, and in fact, there's trouble. Kyle Knapp cannot avoid it. He's involved as well. David Elliott, Joshua O'Connor, Pierce Buffett, and Chris Akers. That moment that we talked about that can change everything. It comes with 22 laps to go, Tanner. We're going to try to put on screen and see what caused this.
Yeah, we've only got 3 extra sets of tires, so that's something to keep in mind. The 4 got loose. The 4 is David Elliott got loose and caused this pile up here.
I might have had a little help. Back it up real quick. Right here from this angle, coming into the corner. Oh, you know what? I think there's either air. No, I think there's a little netcode and arrow involved there. Here, I'll back it up one more time, and I want you to take a look at it. It moves unrealistically right there. Do you see that? It's almost like the number 59 drove into him, but he obviously didn't. There's a giant gap right there.
Yeah, I see exactly what you're talking about. And for those of you that don't know, netcode is whenever your car is credited a contact for another car whenever you do not actually touch. So therefore it's netcode. It's the 41 came in and had absolutely nowhere to go, only 59 in the 4, in that white and pink Ford F-150, caught up in that wreck as well. That is Pierce Maffett.
Yep, I'm going to call that as it is. That was netcode for sure. Uncharacteristic way that it turned. It wasn't quite an arrow push right there. All the drivers came down pit road. Brendan Book is going to come out first over Devin Coleman, Rominger. Ed Morris lost 4 positions right there. 4 positions. He was on pit road for about 1 second longer. Lost 4 positions.
Yeah, let me double check real fast. But I am 100% sure that the Truck Series has 3 additional sets of tires, and that will be the majority of the field's tire sets for the night. Isaiah has already pitted around lap 65, and then right around 100, and now they just pit with 21 to go. So with a quick check, it looks like there are 4 sets of tires, so they have 3 additional sets, so that is correct. Yeah, and as you mentioned earlier, as you called out the wreck, it was netcode. The 59 and the 4 were deemed in that wreck. No one at fault. Penalty was not an EOL. They're going to disregard that wreck as it was netcode. They were just driving side by side. It would not have been an incident if it was not for netcode. So there you go, Jonathan. Also, one little quick fix I'd like to make, there are 5 total sets of tires, 4 additional sets, so they should have another set after this, possibly 1 more set. So I wouldn't put it past a few drivers at the end if there's 1 more caution to go back down and take tires closer within approximately 10 to go or so, Jonathan.
Yeah, it's going to be quite an interesting little go here. And unfortunately, I think I just talked to you alone for probably 25-30 seconds because I had to mute my mic because my toddler decided to crawl over and start screaming, and I didn't unclick it when I was mentioning about the whole top 10 right there. So we'll go through them one more time as we're coming down the backstretch. Brendan Book, Devin Coleman, Mike Rominger, Ed Morris 4th, Jeremy Clifton 5th, Bryce Sinsack, Michael Thwaites, Alan Hilton, Rick Christensen, Jordan McGraw round out our top 10. All 10 of these drivers are getting ready for the final showdown, coming off of only the second caution here at Las Vegas Tanner, I don't think we've seen the fireworks yet, but I sure do believe that they are on the way.
Yeah, I see a lot of 3-wide action coming up here. Brendan Book and Devin Coleman are going to be the leaders, like you just mentioned. Ed Morris fell back 3 positions there on the pit cycle as the pace car dives down. Jonathan, take it away.
Be glad to. All right, Brendan Book on the gun right here. Gets a huge jump. Devin Coleman with not a very good restart whatsoever is really going to hold Ed Morris up. Not what he needed if he wanted to have an opportunity. Here comes Mike Rominger to the inside of Devin Coleman. Ed Morris in trouble as well because the 09 of Bryce Sinsack working to his inside. Ed Morris is going to have to make some big moves right here if he's going to try to get back to the front and challenge Brendan Book. And nobody else has shown the speed to keep up with Book aside from Ed Morris. Oh man, big slide right there for Devin Coleman. He's going to hang on to it. Wow. That was almost a huge pileup. He's going to slide all the way back to 13th. Gets a piece of the number 51 right there. Ooh, 13 and him getting real close. Huge checkup. Looks like everything is under control.
Yeah,
wow, that was
tires.
almost a moment.
Yeah, that was a moment. It was not almost. That was a negative moment. We have a yellow flag out. Robert Hill Jr. involved in a crash with 17 to go. Let's take a look right here. Jonathan's going to send us with the camera. It looks like he's backwards in turn 3 as we'll take a look. It looks like he slid all the way from the back stretch. That was a huge jumble right there of trucks.
So Robert Hill Jr., the number 84, right here. Let's see what happened. There's the sneak machine. That's number 87. That's Devin Coleman. So that whole effect of him getting loose up front went all the way back around the 16th, 17th, 18th, or even further back, excuse me. Yeah, no, around 17th, 18th. Chain reaction, and the number 84 crew chiefs, looks like that says Cores or Kazis. I can't exactly make it out, unfortunately. But the number 84 machine ends up being the one that takes the lick of that chain reaction.
Yeah, unfortunate to see him sideways there, turned around, going into turn 3. But Samuel Morris was involved. Looks like he's going down pit road to get his damage fixed. Jonathan, one thing we failed to mention at the beginning of this race is 0 fast repairs. So if you have damage, you're going to have to go down pit road and get it fixed because there is no resets for this series.
We got some funny things that just happened in the chat there, and that's good to notice. Multiple people said I taught Book everything he knows. Now he has to win. And then somebody else said Hawkins is Yoda. It's kind of funny. Somebody said 2 great saves, and then, well, unfortunately, the 2 saves ended up being the downfall for Robert Hill Jr. right here, as he's on pit road still, I imagine, trying to repair whatever damage he can. And for that number 84 machine, I'm not sure what the exact situation is. It looks like he's about to come off pit road. It just seems like they set the truck down, perhaps. I can't tell if he's running or not for sure. We don't have a cockpit view for that driver right there.
Yeah, he is still sitting in his pit box as the leaders come onto the back stretch here, or excuse me, onto the front stretch down pit road. Pit road is going to be a busy place here for the people that took tires first. Looks like it's going to be dormant. Excuse me, we just turned into a volcano that last erupted about 100 years ago, Jonathan.
Yeah, but that's a little bit of a change right there. We saw a bunch of drivers pretend like they were going to come down, and none of them did. So I'm going to say that they're making their beds right here. And Brendan Book's out front, Mike Rominger, Ed Morris, timely caution for him. He's going to restart inside row number 2 right behind Book. He's going to have an opportunity. Now, we know Rominger has been pretty fast too. He's just not quite as fast on the long runs from what I've seen as Brendan Book and Ed Morris. So I'm not going to count Rominger out because we're only going to have about, look, we'll be coming to green, I think 12 to go based on what I'm seeing right here. So we're not going to count him out either.
That is correct. Rominger was the fastest in qualifying, so we know he has short run speed, but will he be able to manage his tires and keep up with our two leaders that have been dominant for the most of the race? They are the number 5 of Brendan Book in first place, and the third place, number 7 machine of Ed Morris. Mike Rominger is going to have his hands full here as we're coming up on lap 122.
Absolutely. Come back a little bit further. Who I believe our first car 1 lap down in the 23rd position, Wallace Boyce, the number 28, that black, white, and blue Autel, A-U-T-E-L machine. At least that's what I'm seeing on the back right here. Mecca Cup number 28. Pretty snazzy ride right there, Wallace Boyce. Christopher Basinger right behind him, the Thrustmaster number 11th, or number 11th, number 11 machine. Tyler Dohar, Nicholas Froman, who we saw making some great moves at number 95, ends up getting trapped a lap down effectively. We saw him as high as, I believe, 8th, and he did assume the lead at one point, so I believe he did lead 1 lap in this race earlier today.
That is correct. He was up 33 positions whenever he was in first place, whenever the pit cycles came through. Pace truck here, coming out of turn 2, as we just saw. Onto the backstretch we go. Mike Rominger is on the outside line, on the front row. Brendan Book on the inside, going to have control of the restart. They will go on the number 5. So 09 Bryce Sinisek in third will be on the inside, as well as Ed Morris in the number 7 be MP4 on the outside. Our pace truck going into turn 3, Jonathan.
Alright, so these drivers are going to get ready for what could be the final restart here, depending on what happens. However, the action's going to pick up as we're coming to 12 laps to go. The pace truck's going to make that crazy left-hand turn. There it goes. Brendan Book is going to be on the throttle. He's on the throttle immediately, catches the entire field sleeping as Rominger does not get a good restart. Ed Morris has to check up for him, and Bryce Sinsek really wasn't ready whatsoever at all. Morris with the big shove on Rominger. However, he's got a little more momentum, has to check up because Rominger just a touch slower. Behind him, Sinsek and number 9 with number 12 Michael Thwaite side by side. Ed Morris ended up sliding up to the high side. Now he's working to the inside of Mike Rominger into turn 3. Doesn't quite have the momentum yet to make something happen.
Yeah, that 12 machine making moves on Bryce Sinisek. 4P4 all the way to the apron he goes. Has him by about a tire at the start-finish line. Dive down all the way to the bottom in turns 1 and 2, following Ed Morris, Mike Rominger, and Brendan Book. He is under fire by the 09 of Brian Sinisek, like I just mentioned. Alan Hilton in the number 2 machine, up 14 positions in P6, is right in the middle of that front pack. As we saw Mike Rominger go to the lead, Ed Morris is going to follow him on the bottom. Brendan Book is getting freight trained on the top side.
I'm not really quite ready to call it freight train yet, but now Ed Morris might be able to get right by him, and I think this is what Ed Morris needed. Although he gets loose right there, you see trying to get on the throttle. He had got out of the throttle. That's going to bring Brendan Book right back to him side by side, and as well as number 12 Sinisek right there. Ed Morris had to work a lot harder than you could tell on screen to make sure he didn't lose that position. Really needs to slide up in front of Brendan Book right here in order to hang on to this position. A little more momentum. Great run by the number 12. Unfortunately, nowhere to go as Ed Morris looks to the inside of the number 9.
Yeah, slides it all the way to the bottom, exact same position he was in last night on the white flag laps. And maybe he learned a little bit from Richmond and take it to Las Vegas. 2 totally different tracks, but hey, the basics are still the same. Ed Morris in second position. He lets Mike Rominger back down. Mike Rominger had the momentum on the back stretch. Going to the start-finish line, he has him by about a car length and a half. Brendan Book is getting taken over by Bryce Sinisek.
Well, nearly touching right there, but for the 7.5 and the 12, these drivers aren't afraid to run it close and tight as we're coming to the backstretch right here with 7.5 laps remaining. Rominger still out front. Ed Morris trying anything he can to possibly get around, but he's got to be careful because Brendan Book is waiting to try to get that position back. Ed Morris might be looking to the inside right here. Rominger is going to shut the door, everybody down to the apron. These drivers are separated by less than a bumper each. What can Ed Morris possibly do here to get around Rominger? We're going to find out coming out of turn number 2 with 7 laps to go. A little bit further back, we've got a lot of side-by-side action behind the leaders. As you see, Rominger making himself really wide. Multiple cars right here side-by-side. The number 19, the 2, the number 3. That's John Sterling, Jordan McGraw, Jeremy Clifton. A lot of positions right here still to be sorted out. Dennis Weeks Jr. currently in 12th, but he's got 6, 7, 8 cars that he might be able to make decisions on the next couple laps depending on what happens.
Yeah, so I just watched the number 7 of Ed Morris coming out of turn 4 about 2 laps ago. Fake high and dive low. That's going to be the move he's going to take at the end of this race. Brendan Book to the inside, though, of the number 7. So number 7 not going to be able to take that move right now. Brendan Book taking control of that second position, trying to chase down Mike Rominger. And if I'm Mike Rominger right here, I am smiling from ear to ear as Brendan Book and Ed Morris are side by side. That is the best position that you can be in. Is in the lead. Is second and third are fighting side by side, taking the air off of one another's spoils.
Oh, there's the move right there. Golly, what a block that Brendan Book just showed. So he's trying to fake again. Caution is out. This changes everything. I'm not sure what was involved, but we nearly had one between Ed Morris and Brendan Book as well. I think Jeremy Clifton is involved. We're going to try to see what just happened here.
Yeah, it looked like 2 trucks trying to run the same line, but that was from a distance. So once we get a view here, I'll be able to make the final verdict of this wreck. Looks like 3 wide by the 51. Not going to make it stick.
He had a little bit of help, possible a little bit of a shove from behind, helped get him loose, and just not really wide track right there, and multiple cars. And holy cow, did you see that one hit? Is that who is that? That black machine, the number 2 right there. Holy cow, that was a huge hit. Or maybe that was not the number 2. I thought
You
that
talking
was
about
the
the
number 2.
82 of Mike Franklin in the black and chrome machine?
That's the one I'm looking for. I couldn't see the 8 because it's rubbed off, but just gets blasted right there by that white and aqua
Blew its engine.
machine. Yeah, you're sure right. I heard that as well right there. Golly. So this is going to turn ourselves into a green-white checkered here, it looks like. Mike Rominger is out front. Ed Morris is going to have another opportunity from the low lane. Brendan Book is going to be on the outside. So we haven't really seen Rominger restart from the lead here, so we're not sure what kind of, or I'm not sure what kind of restart he's going to get.
So at the beginning of this race, he was pole sitter, and he fell back. Just heads up, Jonathan.
See, that's a good thought right there. I think it's a little bit different now than as to now. But, you know, he's on the point, and you only got to go 1 lap at speed here. He's where I want to be. I want to be where Rominger is. And, you know, we thought that he might have an opportunity here on the short run speed, but to be honest, I didn't really expect it with how strong Brendan Book and Ed Morris were going to be. But Rominger got out front, and I really think the battling between Book and Morris has a lot to do with why Rominger is still holding down this lead position.
Yeah, that is correct. When they were battling, Rominger was able to keep the throttle down and get about 2 car lengths away from him and secure that spot for whenever the yellow did come out. And here it is. It's going to be a green-white checkered. For our fans at home, that means the first flag will be a green flag. Next lap by will be a white flag, and either the checkered flag or the yellow flag will end the race on that second lap. So we'll have 2 laps of racing here once they do go green.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens right here. This has been a great race, a lot of action, a lot of respectful action, great drivers. Just really can't wait to see how this one turns out. Is it going to be one of these top 3? Is someone like Michael Thwaites in 4th or Bryce Sinsack going to be able to make a move from 4th or 5th? I'm going to say that the top 5 all have an opportunity. But I really think it's going to be a battle between these front 3 right here. Unless they decide to get together here coming onto the backstretch as they're all making moves. It's going to be an exciting one, Tanner. Definitely can't wait.
Yeah, we've only got one attempt, so if they do not make it back, that is the race, and it'll be just like last week, to where we will finish under yellow. And we will have to wait about another lap on cooldown to see where everybody pans out at. That is only if it ends with a yellow flag, Jonathan. So gonna hope that we can go green all the way. Mike Rominger gonna fake pit road here, gonna go low. He stays out.
Don't really have much of a choice in this situation. Mike Rominger is going to be on point with Brendan Book to his outside. Ed Morris restarts inside row number 2. Michael Thwaites in the number 12 will be outside row number 2 with Bryce Sinsack inside row number 3. Rick Christensen going to restart 6th. John Sterling starting 7th. 8th is Alan Hilton. Jordan McGraw and the number 97 Dennis Weeks is going to be rounding out the top 10 for what is likely going to be the final restart and final 2 laps of the race.
That is correct. You just summed up our front 2 rows. As I see that beautiful number 97 machine peeking out, the first light blue machine back there. I hope that there's carnage and he makes it through. Days of Thunder.
You're showing your age there, you know. You want to see carnage and excitement. Us older people just want to see this race end with a great battle.
Hey, what can I say? Youngins do it wildest.
Yes, I did at one point. But anyhow, the ones that are going to be doing things the wildest are going to be these top 5. As in a couple moments here, this pace truck's going to make that insane left turn. He's going to pretend like he's driving one of these cars. Any moment now, we're going to see him turn off. All right, Mike Rominger is going to be on the button. Rominger's going to get right on the throttle immediately. It looks like Brendan Book wasn't ready for it. Ed Morris, however, was ready for it. Morris is going to beat Brendan Book to the line. I'm not sure if there's a rule on that, Tanner. Maybe you know. But here comes Ed Morris looking to the outside. Big run by Bryce Sinsack. What can Ed Morris do coming out of turn 2 to create an opportunity to win this race?
Brendan Book with the momentum. Ed Morris looking high to block him. Mike Rominger leading that first pack. Ed Morris going to fall in line here. Watch this fake high dive low here. Look at it coming. Jonathan, I'm going to call it right here. He's going to go high. Is he going to go high? High. There he goes. Is he going to dive low?
He's not going to be
He's
able
going to stay high.
He didn't have an opportunity. Rominger saw that the whole way through. So Ed Morris looking to try to get momentum on the high side right here. His best opportunity is going to be to hold that number 9 down as low as he possibly can. That's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to stay side by side. Rominger just by a little bit of a nose. Here comes Ed Morris. Rominger's going to go down to the apron. Oh my gosh! I think it was Rominger.
Rominger got that by literal thousands. Literal thousands. Let me get that exact number here because SDK is not. Rominger got it by 5,000ths of a second. Oh my goodness. Ed Morris second place by maybe a carbon fiber inch.
5,000ths. We're going to try to slow that down here and show y'all what that looks like. Slowing it down, slowing it down. Coming to the line. Golly.
Alrighty, Jonathan, while you're taking a look at this, I will get our 3 interviewers all the way up.
Alright, we appreciate that. This is, what a finish right here. You can see it right here just past the line. A little bit blurry for the speeds. By a splitter. Mike Rominger defeats Ed Morris. Brendan Book, by about a half truck, is going to be out front over Bryce Sinsack in that number 9 machine. Just what a finish. All that I can say. We're going to go ahead while we're waiting on these drivers. We're going to show that white flag, that final lap one more time from the perspective here of Ed Morris. Or excuse me, from the camera angle following Ed Morris. See here, Ed Morris doing everything he can. notices that Rominger's not going to give him that low side, so he has no choice but to go to the top right here and hold Rominger down the best that he can. And really valiant effort right here. And what I believe that made the difference here is coming out of the corner. Rominger goes right down here to below the white line, covers the gap that Morris had, and Morris didn't go with him. And then just you see how close it really was for Rominger getting the win.
Yeah, and Leach, we have all three interviewers ready to go if we want to go ahead and pull down our third place finisher, Brendan Book, in that number 5 machine. Here he is.
User was moved to your channel.
Alrighty, Brendan Book, do you have a copy?
I gotcha.
This is Tanner Now and Jonathan Leach with ESPN and SRM. We appreciate you hanging with us there for a second, but congratulations on a third place finish. And as you were coming out of turn 4 onto the front stretch, can you explain what you thought was about to happen with our leaders there and where you were trying to position yourself for the best position finish possible?
Yeah, they're off turn 4. I just think, those guys, I know they're teammates. I didn't think that they were, get into each other or anything like that and wreck. And so I just kind of felt I was pinned in there with someone on my inside. So I think I was just going to try to stay behind and, get third there. Otherwise, I think if I would have tried to make a move, I probably would have fell back to 4th. But all in all, a good race, good run. Better than last week after flipping. So I'm happy with the result.
Yeah, under your own power, you came to the start-finish line. And on that last strategy there, it put you up towards the front. You and Ed Morris were battling back and forth all night long, whether it was for the lead or whether it was for second and third. You're all right beside each other, and you finished P3. Solid points night for you. You even led some laps, get a bonus point for that. Brendan, I'll let Jonathan hand it over to you before you have any sponsors or shout-outs. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Well, Tanner, you seem to really kind of cover the main things, but Brendan, we got a picture of you up, and it says you're out of Sterling Heights. Is that where you are currently, or is that just your hometown?
Oh, yep, that's where I'm currently.
How about that? I'm in the great small town of Alpena, about 3.5 hours northwest of you. Excuse me, northeast of you. Yeah, a little bit cold up here. But always kind of cool to see drivers in the near or the vicinity of me, so I thought we'd give you a shout out right there. Or whatever, Anyhow, then, Brendan, great job on P3. Really awesome battle between the top 3, you guys. I really thought any one of the 3 of y'all could have came home with it. You in the third. Obviously, you would have liked to finish first. But really, really great run for you today. Look forward to seeing you next week. Next week, I'll be watching you on track because Angel will be back in the booth. With that being said, I'm going to turn it over to you. Anybody that you want to thank or mention before we let you go?
Yeah, I just want to say great racing to all the guys out there. It was really fun up front. Even though I didn't get the win, it was still very enjoyable. I'm happy with the third. Wish that yellow didn't come out there in that run because I think I could have had it. But since I had a good long run truck. But as far as sponsors, D-Dub Button Boxes for being on the truck. Use the code GTM10 to get a 10% off any button box that you want to buy from them. Check them out on Facebook. Also, Butt Kicker being on the car or truck. And GTM, my teammates, everyone in the race, we all, give each other ideas and whatnot, how we're running. So thanks to them. We all try to help each other throughout the race. Thanks to the admins for doing a good job. And then you guys up here, appreciate you guys coming on this season and hope you guys are enjoying it because I'm sure everyone else is.
Yeah, we're absolutely having a blast. Epic race. Great job. We look forward to seeing you next time. Tanner, if you want to switch them out for our next one.
User was moved out of your channel. User was moved to your channel.
Alrighty, Ed Morris, our second place finisher. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
This is Tanner Now and Jonathan Leach with ESPN. What a finish you put on. Not only was it a finish, let me back up just a second. That second to last fuel run and the last fuel run, you and Brendan Book side by side just about the whole time, nose to tail at some point through both of those runs. He was probably your biggest competitor tonight, and you gave him every inch of that truck that you have. Clean racing, no bumping doors, taking the lane very respectfully, and then that finish there. Let's go ahead and fast forward to that finish, and then I'll let you sum up both of these questions. Hit you with a double at one time, but coming on the inside, or the outside, exactly opposite of last night at Richmond, where you're on the inside. You had the opposite spectacle tonight. As Mike Rominger coming out of 4, y'all were dead even. He beat you by 5 thousandths of a second. I know he beat you. It's not the sentence you want to hear tonight, but only 5 thousandths of a second kept you from victory lane. Ed, if you'll go ahead and explain this too.
It was crazy, man. I know we had that caution, and then cautions breed caution, so we just kept getting a couple different restarts, and I was able to restack on the inside on that green-white checkered. And I thought, okay, so looking good here, and I knew Mike was gonna guard the bottom with everything he had. My driver window when we come across the line, but man, it was that was a heck of a finish.
It was a nail biter for sure. I'll let Leach finish you off here before you give your sponsors and shout outs.
Yeah, all I can say is wild finish, and I don't really think there was anything else you could have done there to try to win the race, Ed. You did what you had to do coming off turn 3. You held Mike down, and the only difference was he dove down to below the apron, and the only other thing you might have been able to do is try to go with him. But there's just so little time to do that. By the time he was down there, the race was over. And
yeah, it was quick, and I tried to come down too, and it's real hard to judge on your inside like that how far he really goes, that quick. So I didn't want to go down there and door him off into the grass. I try to do my best to race clean and race everybody fairly, and because that's how I want to get raced too. I mean, if I lose to a guy that truly beat me, by racing clean, you can't be mad about that. I try to promote good hard clean racing here at Extreme, and I lead by example.
It's the best way to do it, and I mentioned a lot of that multiple times tonight from my vantage point watching the race. It just seemed like there was a lot of respect from the drivers. It looked like there was a lot of give and take. There was a lot of taking, obviously, at the end there, but like with respect. There is a little bit of, I would call it blocking between you and Brendan Book, but nothing that I saw that I thought was at an excessive time, like the aggressive moves happened when they should happen. You didn't see aggressive moves that could cause a lot of carnage at the wrong time, and kudos to the league. So shout out to you guys for putting on a great show and super respectful racing between all the drivers out on track. That's really cool. That's not something that's very common, and it created for a great show.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, all these guys here, man, they do a heck of a job, and this has been such a great start to the season here at Extreme, and we got a lot of good drivers here, a lot of drivers that know what they're doing and are respectful and they're clean, and Brendan Book, he's a heck of a racer, man. He was going to give me a run for my money just as like I was going to give him a run for his money, and it'd have been interesting to see how this thing played out if we would have went green all the way. But those cautions make it fun. I knew it was going to be every inch of the racetrack. It was anybody's, and you had to watch and be aware at every second because, you could be 3 wide, you could be 4 wide. Somebody coming to your inside. There is, you got to be ready for whatever comes. And when it comes down to green, white checkers like that, I mean, hey, we finished in the green. That's an accomplishment in itself. Not only having a battle to the line like we did, so. I'm a loss for words here. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's just a really, really fun race. I've had the pleasure of being on 2 great ones in the last 3 days, and just makes this fun. It's rejuvenating, I should say. But anyway, Ed, anybody you want to thank, anyone you want to shout out to, anyone you want to talk about personally prior to us letting you go so we can bring up our race winner?
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I just want to. I'll start off by thanking the team, Primetime Motorsports, man. We had a lot of cars in that top 5. I mean, I feel bad for Brendan. We pretty much had him outnumbered there with the teamwork and with the guys up there. But we ran hard and we were racing each other too, and we didn't wreck each other. So that's a success. And we finished with a lot of guys up here. 2 of us on the podium. So you can't complain about that. I'd like to thank our series sponsor, RICMOTECH, those guys for staying with us, sponsoring Extreme. They do a lot of sponsoring throughout all of Extreme Motorsports, and those guys are a big beneficiary to us, and I really thank those guys. And then last but not least, our admins, and then you guys for putting on a spectacular broadcast coming on brand new with us this season. You guys are doing a heck of a job with what we're giving you, and jumping on this thing, with a fresh start and being new, and I can't thank you guys enough. You guys are doing a heck of a job.
Well, all I can say is thanks for that. We appreciate it. We need to hear the good feedback as well as the bad feedback, and you're in really, really great hands. And on that, real quick before I let you go, I'm going to take this moment to give the biggest shout out of Tanner's young commentary career. So about a year ago, we started Sim Racing Media, and probably at 8 months, we found Tanner. Tanner came onto the scene, and oh man, he was rough. He was really rough. And he is by far the most improved commentator I think I've ever met. World of difference. He's outstanding. He knows what to call, when to say it. And kudos for him just almost working perfectly with me. And him and I haven't called a show in probably 7 months together. So thank you, Ed, for the kind words. And thank you, Tanner, for being great in the booth. Ed, congratulations on P2, epic run. We're going to send you on back, and we're going to get with the race winner.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Tanner, we're happy to have you here at Extreme.
Hey, thank you, Ed. I appreciate it, and congratulations on the podium.
User was moved out of
Jonathan, you're going to make me cry. I'm blushing. I ain't going to lie. I appreciate that. See, I'm choking up.
That's great timing to have some allergy problems, sure enough. But
yeah.
As Tanner's over there choking, trying not to get too worked up. But Tanner really has been a huge part here for us. Really proud to have him. He's going to be great for Extreme, for the ARC and the Truck Series.
Alrighty, there we go. I got my breath back. But I was going to say thank you so much, and I appreciate you covering for Angel tonight. We're going to bring in Mike Rominger, and he is all yours.
All mine, you say. Well, Mike Rominger.
User was moved to your channel.
Oh, okay. There he is. Now Mike Rominger's in the channel. Now I heard him. Thanks, Tanner, for bringing him in here. Mike, I need you to tell us how you held off a hard-charging Ed Morris coming to the line. Did you know how much it was by? It was by 0.005 of a second. That move down to the apron is what won you the race. But I want you to walk us through that real quick.
Well, on the restart, I kind of thought, I had my teammates behind me, so, I felt comfortable there, but I thought I was going to get out to a big enough lead, and they was just going to, get me on the outside. But I held the bottom. I knew that, holding the bottom was the best bet, and I knew Ed was going to try it there at the end, try the outside, and he got out there, so I just held the bottom as best I could. I drifted up just a tad bit coming off, but I thought, well, the only way I'm going to win this is try to cut down as far as I can, and it worked out, I guess.
It sure did. That is what won you the race, because he had the bumper in front of you coming really on the front stretch. But the moment that you kind of cut the front stretch, just that little bit by hitting the apron, that was the difference, and that's what got you the victory here tonight. And I thought you had a really, really great short-run car.
Yeah.
And that's the exact kind of situation that you got handed, and you were handed that with the lead. And so you really were in the best position on that final restart there. You capitalized on it. We're watching you a replay of your donuts that you just did, because we put you, while you were talking about it, we had you back on screen pulling off this insane super close margin of victory. It was a lot of fun. One more question for you. Did you notice a change on the track at all throughout the race, or was it marginally the same, or for the most part the same?
I think it was about the same. The tires get wore, get hot, and it starts to push, but generally it was the same the whole run, the whole night.
All right. Tanner, do you have anything you want to mention or any questions that you have for Mike?
One thing I want to shout out is you started this race first and finished it first, and you may not have ran there throughout the whole entire race, but hey, you brought it back to where you started. Huge congratulations to that. Pat yourself on the back. Congrats on the win, Mike, and hope you have good luck throughout the rest of the season. Glad to call it.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate that.
Hey,
Yeah,
no problem. I call it out whenever I see good driving, and that was excellent. Go ahead, Jonathan.
I was going to say, we have a lot of fun up here, and you guys put on an excellent show. You did a great job. I had a lot of fun watching you guys. You made it kind of hard to follow the rest of the field, but we did our best to get through and try to mention just about everybody that we could. But anyway, Mike, before we wrap this one up, anybody that you want to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you guys for putting up the broadcast, and Rick for, the league, and all my teammates down in Prime Time, and the sponsors, RICMOTECH, and our sponsors, Maestros, for getting on board. And yeah, we'll try to go out next week and get it again.
All right, well, we'll be looking forward to it. I'll probably be tuning in for that one. It's going to be a lot of fun. Mike, enjoy the victory. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
User was moved out of your channel.
Alrighty, Jonathan, that sums up our interviews. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and get these final results up to you.
Final results on screen. We just heard from Mike Rominger. Epic victory right there. 5/1000ths of a second. That might be the closest margin of victory that I've ever seen, Tanner, or been a part of. Just over Ed Morris. Just, golly, so close. Brendan Book ends up coming home P3. Great battle between Morris and Brendan Book for a large part of the race. Bryce Sinsack held down fourth for a large portion of the race and ended up finishing probably right around where he probably should have. A really great race for him. John Sterling in the number 3, he had a lot of shout-outs, Tanner. Did you notice that? Multiple times, I think, in the chat, people wanted to see him. Brings it home 5th. Great job for him. Michael Thwaites in the number 12 finishes 6th with Rick Christensen 7th. Jordan McGraw is 8th. He's up 13 positions from where he started. Alan Hilton plus 11 positions in 9th. Dennis Weeks Jr., that 97 machine that you're so fond of, rounds out the top 10.
That is correct. And in 11th, we have Christian DeBoer in the 56 machine. Number 05, Tom Massey, gets 12th. 13th is the number 94 of Samuel Morris. 14th, number 84, Robert Hill Jr. 15th, number 98, Kevin Franks. That is your hardest charger, up 21 positions in 15th. So number 13 in 16th position, Don Milkwick. 17th, number 11, Christopher Bassinger. 18th, number 95, Nicholas Broman. Number 19th, number 87, position 19th, number 87, Devin Coleman. And position 20th, number 1, Chris Akers.
Wallace Boyce ends up bringing it home 21st, and number 28 machine, Tyler Dohar, 22nd. Jeremy Clifton in the number 51 comes home 23rd. Ryan Hoover, 24th. Rob Griffin, 25th. Scott Brotherton, 26th. Bill Holes in 27th. Mike Franklin comes home 28th. Not what we were expecting for him tonight. Kyle Knapp finishes 29th, plus 24. Got involved in some incidents. Had a really fast car. Who knows what could have been for him and his machine. David Elliott comes home with 30th. And Tanner, the rest of the field is yours.
Alrighty, we got 31st, number 59, Joshua O'Connor Sr. 32nd, number 41, Pierce Moffitt. 33rd, number 50, Raul Alvis. Number 34, or position 34, number 88, Mark Hamlin. The number 99 machine of James Holtzer in 35th. 36th, 17 of Kel Mabin. 37th, number 65, Raleigh Payson. And rounding out your 38 truck field, number 67, William Hartman.
Thank you, Tanner. So that's our field of drivers for Las Vegas 135. This is the RICMOTECH High Performance Truck Series, also brought to you by Extreme Scoring, produced by the ESPN Network, which is a sim racing media company. We want to thank all the drivers for being here. We want to thank the fans, everybody that was very active in the chat today. We appreciate you very much. If you haven't liked or followed, please do so. Don't forget to check out our ESPN Facebook page and our Sim Racing Media Facebook page, both of those which are soon to be combined, just have not happened as of yet. And remember, Christmas is coming up. Get yourself a Red Cat Rock Crawler RC machine, which you can find a link to that in the description below. That helps our team all. And it is an affiliate link, so we do get a little bit of a kicker. Any bit of kicker goes back to my commentators, commentators like Tanner. If you like what Tanner does, don't forget there is a tip jar. You can directly tip Tanner, and that will go right to him. So that being said, Tanner, thank you for being excellent in the booth. You have a very bright future with us. Don't ever go away. Any last words that you have before we end this one?
Yeah, I want to say thank you to the fans and drivers for letting us come on, and a huge thank you to you for filling in for Angel Santiago as he was out. He will be back next Tuesday night, same place, same time, everyone. Thank y'all so much. Make sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and even turn that bell on YouTube for whenever we go live. Make sure to share to all your friends. And Jonathan, that's all I got.
All right, folks. So that's going to be it for Las Vegas in the RICMOTECH Truck Series. Tanner Now, Jonathan Leach, we are signing off. We'll see you next time.